Yo, what is up, everybody? Chris here from Fake Sports News, back at it again with another video. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a quick recap of what happened yesterday during Thursday's matches, as well as what you can expect going into today, Friday's matches. So kicking things off, we of course had the Subliners taking on the Dallas Empire. You guys know I was backing the Subliners going into this. And yeah, Subliners got 3-0'd. Don't want to talk about it. No, I'm kidding. Empire looked really good. They bounced back. They looked like Empire from stage one. They really went back to the drawing board. They demolished them in Search and Destroy. Hardpoint, I mean, it was close. It was a really, really good hardpoint. I think it was 250 to 230-ish, maybe. I'll fact check that when I edit. But yeah, it was a good hardpoint, good Search and Destroy. Control wasn't really as close as I thought it would be. Empire looked really good in the series, closed it out. Um, so yeah, going into the rest of the major, I like Empire. I like them up against Minnesota. I think Empire take that series. So more on that in a few minutes, though. Of course, in our next matchup of the day, we had Optic taking on the Toronto Ultra, and this was really surprising. Optic got 3-1 by the Ultra. I think they just came out really flat. They won the opening hardpoint, of course, as many of us expected them to, but they lost the next Search and Destroy. They were up 5-2 or 5-3. And they lost the next 3 or 4 rounds straight. Not really sure what happened. The control, they just choked a lot of really important engagements, and in the hard point, they choked. They had the lead going into, I believe, P5, and they just couldn't hold it. So it was just a weird series from them, very off, and I think they'll bounce back later on today against Seattle Surge and take the victory there. Now, of course, in our next matchup, we had our first elimination game of the day, where we saw the LA Thieves taking on the London Royal Ravens. And surprisingly, my prediction there was right. It was a 3-2 in favor of the Thieves. They got the reverse sweep. London went up 2-0, of course, winning the hard point and the Search and Destroy. Thieves won the control, the second hard point, and then the following Search and Destroy in the game 5. And they looked really great. So you guys know I've been thinking the Thieves will be making the run through this losers bracket after I saw what I saw on day one. Said that in yesterday's video. But yeah, I think they're going to make the run, man. I really do. I'm liking what I'm seeing from them so far. And I think that they keep that momentum going. I think that they're going to really, even if it doesn't continue this weekend necessarily, I think they're going to keep that going into stage 3. And I like the Thieves a lot. And of course, in our last matchup of the day, we had the Seattle Surge take on the Florida Mutineers. And the Surge walked away with this one with a 3-1. You guys know I was backing Seattle in this series because of the form that both teams have been in, that, of course, being the Mutineers and the Surge. Surge have been looking really good in the last few weeks, whereas the Mutineers, they've had their struggles. So that's why I liked Seattle to win this, and they walked away with a 3-1. I thought it would be a 3-2, but at least the outcome was right. So that made me feel good. I was, 2 of 4 on the day, but 50% hit rate, got to be happy with that, right? Especially in a major where there's a lot of upsets. Of course, Optic lost, which was a big upset. Dallas beating New York was what many of us would expect, given that Dallas is a higher seed, and they've never lost to New York this year. But yeah, it was definitely surprising to see them get 3-0'd by Dallas. I thought they would play them a lot tighter. So moving on, enough rambling about that. We, of course, kicked things off today with the Dallas Empire taking on the Rokkr. I think that the Dallas Empire walk away with this one. I think it's possibly a 3-1. With the way that they played yesterday, I just don't see Rokkr really matching that intensity. Their hardpoint game has not really looked too strong. Empire Search has looked a lot better. And Empire's control was definitely a lot better than Minnesota's, in my opinion, when they played last. So I think Empire walks away with this one with 3-1. I think that the Minnesota Rokkr likely take the Search and Destroy. And if they don't take the Search and Destroy, then they take the control. So I think it's a 3-1 in favor of the Dallas Empire. Now, of course, there is a chance that Minnesota come out really hot since they are in the winner's bracket awaiting the Dallas Empire. But personally, I just think that the Empire have always been the better team between these two. And I think that will show today. Now, in our next matchup, we have our second match from the winner's bracket side of things. We have Atlanta Faze taking on the Toronto Ultra. And, of course, you guys know I think Toronto is going to get smacked. I think yesterday against Optic, they just had all their players firing on all cylinders, and they looked great. Vance really stepped up for the first time in a while. And everybody looks good on the Toronto side. So I think that they'll walk away with that victory. On the Faze side, of course, you guys know, Faze up, baby. Faze up. You can do it too, Faze up. Shout out to my boy Celium. Yeah, so I think Faze walk away with the victory here, guys. I think it's a 3-1. Honestly, I think Ultra take a map somewhere. They were playing so well. They're looking definitely a lot better. So I think they take a map, but as it stands, Faze definitely walk away with the victory. I'll call it a 3-1 here. So I'm thinking 2-3-1s, of course, on the side of Dallas and Faze so far, if you're keeping tally. And then in our next matchup, we have Optic Chicago taking on the Seattle Surge. I see this as being another 3-0 or 3-1 for the Chicago side. I think yesterday they just had an off day. Of course, Vance was playing out of his mind. He finally showed up for the team. Kleenex was playing really, really well. Cammy was frying. And of course, Insight was also frying. So I think it was just really a performance where all four players on Toronto, they just played out of their gourds, if you will. And Optic just, I mean, what are you going to do? Another team just on another level. Everybody went Super Saiyan on the Toronto side. I think they bounced back against Seattle, though. So 3-1 Optic Chicago is my call. And of course, in our last matchup of the day, we have the New York Subliners taking on the LA Thieves. I think this is another 3-1, but this time in favor of the Subliners. I like the LA Thieves, but I think a team like the New York Subliners, especially after a hot 3-0 from the Dallas end, will be looking to bounce back, and I think they will bounce back in a big way. So if you guys are going to be following me in terms of bets today, I would say minus 1.5 Empire, minus 1.5 Faze, minus 1.5 Chicago, minus 1.5 New York. Of course, this is a major, so there is potential that some of these do not hit. But as it stands, that's how I see things going. So follow me if you'd like to. Also, Moneyline Optic Chicago, Moneyline Dallas Empire, Moneyline Faze, Moneyline New York Subliners. We're going all favorites today. I think all four teams will be equally out to prove something, right? Like these are the four teams that we expect to be in the top four by the time the dust settles at this major. So I think the New York Subliners walk away with a pretty confident victory. Same for Optic Chicago. They need those bounce backs after losing to Dallas and Toronto, respectively. I think in their next matchups, I think Chicago and Subliners beat Toronto and, of course, Minnesota. And I think that's our top four New York, Chicago, Atlanta, and Dallas. So, yeah, guys, we'll see how things go today. You know my feelings. And be sure to follow us on Twitter. All of our map calls are announced on there. I'm not going to announce them in the videos anymore. It just takes up time. So, yeah, guys, that'll just about wrap it up for me. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, wherever you may be on this beautiful planet. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Once again, this has been Chris from Fake Sports News, and I'm signing off. Peace.